much looking forward to that. Also, this afternoon, going to talk to my co-hosts from the Bluff City Outdoors Show, Mark McMurray and Mike Marfell. Get that straight every time. They'll be joining us in the 3 o'clock hour. We've got our big Bluff City Outdoors Fishing Pentathlon, multi-species fishing tournament coming up this weekend, Sunday afternoon out at Carlisle Lake. It's going to be an absolute blast. We'll talk about that with those guys a little bit later on. We'll also talk about that tournament on Saturday this week on the Bluff City Outdoors Show, Saturday morning, 11 a.m. here on News Talk STL. And go to the Bluff City Outdoors Facebook page on the events tab there if you want to get more details and want to participate in the tournament, or just want to come out and spectate and watch the weigh-in and all of that stuff. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. So go to the Bluff City Outdoors Facebook page, click on the events tab, check out the Fishing Pentathlon multi-species fishing tournament. Again, that's coming up this Sunday out at Carlisle Lake. It's going to be an absolute blast. All right, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, their war of words is really heating up in the media. As I mentioned earlier, this started as sort of a very friendly back and forth because Elon Musk was somebody that was obviously really close with Donald Trump and the Trump administration, working in conjunction with Trump and his team through Doge and all of that. And he was a part of the campaign and while Trump was running. And then when this big, beautiful bill situation started, there was some pushback from some of the fiscal hawks within the Republican Party, and Donald Trump was very rough, when it came to anybody within the party expressing their non-support of this bill. However, when Elon Musk did it at first, he did not receive that same backlash from the president, but then Elon Musk kind of kept it going. And now it has ramped up to a situation where Donald Trump and Elon Musk are taking much deeper shots at each other in the public and in this debate about the big, beautiful bill. Elon Musk said today on a statement on X, quote, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Democrats would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate." Such ingratitude. Calling the president of the United States, calling out the ingratitude and saying that without him, without Elon, Trump would have lost the election. That's them's fighting words when it comes to the way Donald Trump reacts, of course. While speaking with reporters in the Oval Office, Trump said that he was, quote, "very disappointed by Musk's vocal criticisms of the bill." The president claimed that Musk knew what was in the bill and had no problem with it until the EV incentives had to be cut. He said, the president said, quote, "I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden, he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we were going to have to cut the EV mandate." Musk, however, pushed back immediately on that claim in another post on X and said that, quote, it said, "false, period. This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it." And that leads me into the next part of this story. And he kind of gives a little bit of grace there and cover for some other Trump loyalists that have come out against this bill, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, of all people, who said that she did not read the One Big Beautiful Act in its entirety before she voted yes on it in support of it. But now that she has, she no longer supports it. Greene joins the growing list of President Donald Trump's staunchest House GOP allies who have come out in opposition of the bill that they voted for 2 weeks ago. Representative Scott Perry of Pennsylvania is another loyal MAGA member He said Elon Musk was, quote, right to call out House leadership this week. He said, quote, I wish I had a nickel for every time the Freedom Caucus sounded the alarm and nobody listened, only to find out the hard way that we were right all along. We expect massive improvements from the Senate before it gets back to the House, Perry said, referring to the bill he, again, voted for. As for Marjorie Taylor Greene, she said that her issue with the bill has to do with its 10-year restriction on states regulating artificial intelligence, which, by the way, I completely agree with her on this. The provision reads in part, quote, except as provided in paragraph 2, no state or political subdivision thereof may enforce during the 10-year period beginning on the date of the enactment of this act any law or regulation of that state or a political subdivision thereof limiting, restricting, or otherwise regulating artificial intelligence models, artificial intelligence systems, or automated decision systems entered into interstate commerce. Get all that? Greene said, again, she voted for the bill 2 weeks ago, said on X, quote, full transparency. I did not know about this section on pages 278 and 279 of the big, beautiful bill that strips states of the right to make laws or regulate AI for 10 years. I am adamantly opposed, all caps on opposed, to this and its violation of states' rights, and I would have voted no if I had known this was in there. Not only does she regret her vote, but Greene is urging the Senate to remove the provision, or she won't vote for the bill when it returns to the House. So really interesting stuff there. I want to unpack that situation a little bit more as we go through the afternoon. So we will definitely dive back in to that issue in just a little bit. But right now, let's switch gears and let's get our friends from All Solutions Pest Control on the line. Our buddy Blake from All Solutions is going to join us next here on Colombo and Company.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com.
On the next
Larry Connors, USA.
The battle over the big, beautiful bill is apparently going to get really, really nasty. We'll have the latest.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Dr. Brad Boscia at New Creation Dental is my dentist. Our family dentist has been for years, and can't recommend him enough. If you are looking for a new dentist for you, for your family, go to newcreationdentalcare.com. Check out their website. Check out all the services that they do. Learn a little bit about Dr. Boscia and his team there at New Creation, and see if they're right for you and your family. And I think that you will like what you see. You hear me all the time talk about how that is a one-stop shop for all your family's dental needs, and that is because they do everything from the basics like cleanings and fillings all the way to more advanced, extremely advanced procedures right there in the office, cutting down on referrals and having to go see specialists or leave the office, to make appointments with doctors that you are unfamiliar with, which is just fantastic from a patient standpoint. That is incredible. An example of what I'm talking about is the all-on-4 full arch implant procedure, full mouth restoration that can give you back your smile in as little as 1 day. No more suffering with damaged or missing teeth or poor fitting dentures. And this is something that they do right there in the office at New Creation Dental Care. Again, you can see some amazing smile makeovers, learn more about the all-on-4 procedure, and see everything that Dr. Boscia and his team can do for you and your family right now just by going to newcreationdentalcare.com.
Nate Lucas here for the Village Bar in the heart of Des Peres. Since 1948, the Village Bar has been the go-to destination for delicious food, cold drinks, and unbeatable atmosphere. Savor their famous wings, burgers, and onion rings, or grab a drink from their fully stocked bar. Catch all the big games and enjoy the company of their friendly staff. Plus, don't miss the 1879 Distillery, a one-of-a-kind experience right next door. The Village Bar offers the best value in town. Find the Village Bar on Facebook and come experience where history meets great times. You'll be glad you did.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
Attention all gun enthusiasts, don't miss the big St. Louis County Gun Show, June 20th through 22nd at the SCL Athletic Center in Fenton. Over 450 tables of pistols, handguns, rifles, log guns, shotguns, ammo, and more. The fun starts Friday, June 20th at 4, continues all weekend. Admission $14 and good for the entire weekend. Kids 12 and under get in free. With discounts for veterans, first responders, and anyone that mentions Aaron sent me. The big St. Louis County Gun Show, the weekend of June 20th. More info at bkpromotions.us.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This hour of Colombo and Company brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
That's a good song from the old days there. Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 1019, 94.1 News Talk STL. As I mentioned, joining us now on the line, our friends from All Solutions Pest Control. Blake from All Solutions is with us. Blake, I know you got to be super busy this time of year, so really appreciate your time, my friend. How are you?
I am good. How about yourself?
Oh, hanging in there. And one thing, one positive, reliable, consistent thing in my life, which is very rare these days in just about any aspect of my life, is my pest control at my house because of you guys. And I've talked about this many times, and we've talked to you, and of course we've had Derek on with us many times over the years, and I'm a big supporter, big endorser of what you guys do at All Solutions Pest Control. We've my wife and I have always it's been important to us to have a pest control service at our homes, throughout our marriage. And when we moved to our new house in St. Peter's a few years ago, as you know, I think you were maybe the first person to come out from All Solutions when we bought that house. That's when we discovered. That's when I found you guys. I hadn't heard of All Solutions a few years ago, and discovered you guys. And from all that experience of working with various other pest control services and having different services at our various homes over the years, from my experience, you guys are the best when it comes to the combination of affordability and results and protection. I think that you guys stand above the rest. And Blake, correct me, that's your goal, right? That's the whole thing at All Solutions, is to not cut corners, to provide the best services possible for your customers.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, it's family owned and operated here. And we strive on giving customers the best service, give them what they're paying for, and doing the best job that we can to give them that service, handle all their needs. Especially, as you know, this time of year, everything starts to come alive, from mosquitoes to ants to mites to springtails. It's an important thing to have to help with those little items, especially the people that are very afraid of, let's say, spiders, for instance. And we try to use the best products that we can. We don't cut corners with that. We'd rather use products that actually work, not what's better budget.
You mentioned mosquitoes there, and this time of year, obviously a big one for mosquitoes. They're one of those pests that, like you said, are waking up and starting to wreak havoc again. We'd love to be outside. We barbecue all the time, so we like to use our deck and our outside area, and our kids like to play outside. And when we lived in North County for so long, we had a mosquito, we were fighting the mosquitoes up there. But I don't know what is happening in St. Charles County, or at least in the St. Peter's area. The mosquito, they're like 3 times bigger than the mosquitoes than the North County mosquitoes that I grew up with. And so having that mosquito treatment is just has been so helpful. And with you guys at All Solutions, we've had other mosquito treatments before, and they would make the results were just kind of hit and miss to begin with, but also like they would make my dog sick. So we couldn't use that, and that I expressed that concern to you and to Derek early on. And you guys said, look, we do things a little different here. I think that I don't think you'll experience that. So we said, let's give it a shot. Sure enough, not only does it keep the mosquitoes away, but the dog, no ill effects on our dog either. So, I mean, that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about in that next level that you guys provide. Can you talk about that mosquito treatment a little bit?
Yes, we do a full mosquito treatment. And of course, this time of year is when it really goes into effect, because not only do we put product out that helps stick to your leaves and trees to help with the mosquito stuff, we also put product out that then helps when mosquitoes come in, let's say, stale water containers or stuff that people tend to have outside that fill up with water. We put stuff into those so that we can keep eggs from hatching and that kind of stuff, to keep that mosquito controlled down. So not only do we spray for mosquitoes, we do what we can to stop them from producing to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it really shows. And I would recommend to people that have had maybe bad experiences with mosquito treatments in the past, particularly if it comes to ill effects on your pets or whatever. Call Solutions and see if that is a different story for you, because it certainly has been for us. And Blake, I wanted to ask you about we're into June. It doesn't feel like we should be into June yet. It's somewhere in summer seasons in St. Louis, but we haven't had the super hot 90-degree days when the pools are all supposed to all be open, and on Memorial Day weekend when everybody's supposed to be opening the pools and going swimming, it was 65 degrees. So it wasn't, it just hasn't, it's been a very weird year. And of course, we've had a lot of severe weather and things like that. Has that had any impact on on the pest season? Does the weather, are they slower to wake up and come out and be a problem because of all the weird weather? Or does the weather make it even worse? Is this strange weather year had any impact on what you guys are doing?
Yeah, it actually delayed some of the, when the stuff gets active and starts moving about, because obviously when it's colder, things don't move around as much. And then you go right into, like you said, this weather's been kind of crazy. So then things are now trying to come out and do their thing, and then they're being pushed right back in because then they have all the severe weather. So ants have become a problem because they're trying to go out and do their thing. Well, all the moisture comes in. So of course, then they want to come back inside. So then that creates an issue that way. So we're doing everything we can to just keep up with the weather and work around what the weather's doing. We do use product that's good, that we can use in a wet weather product, that we do put down, that does help. So that way, when the weather, when we do have those dry days, we have product out there ready to go. So when the pests start moving, it's there for them to come across, so we can start getting a hold of that, versus not having that product there. And then you end up with a bigger problem.
Talking to Blake from All Solutions Pest Control. Only got a couple minutes left here, Blake. So I can't recommend enough that people go to allsolutionspestcontrol.com, learn more about the company. And if you're thinking about, hiring them or checking out their services, take advantage of that amazing $67 introductory special. Perfect time of year to take advantage of that and see if All Solutions is right for your house, as it has been certainly for our home. Blake, before we let you go, we've talked about mosquitoes this time of year right now. What are some of the other pests that are a particular concern this time of year, and what can people sort of look out for, the signs or red flags of a possible pest problem?
Obviously mosquitoes, ants. Another thing that's common this time of year would be mites, because people are tending to their yards with seeding and fertilizing and all that. So mites become very active, especially with the wet weather. And the other big thing that we're seeing right now would also be your springtails, because again, with all the moisture in the air, then it makes them more active as well. I've even seen them at my house, and normally I don't really see them. So those have become very active, mainly because of our wet weather. So those are your more common things that you're going to have this time of year. So those are your main focal points: is mosquitoes, the ants, the mites, springtails. Again, a lot of your other stuff, spiders are normal too. They want to stay hidden and stay inside as well. And with this wet weather, they're sticking inside as well a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't recommend it enough. If you have a pest issue, or you're seeing some of these red flags that there could be a pest issue at your house, call All Solutions Pest Control. But what's always been our sort of mantra is prevention. If you just want to prevent or put up that shield around your house to do the best job possible of protecting a pest problem from developing, again, All Solutions Pest Control, definitely the team to call. Blake, as always, really appreciate your time, especially on a day like today where I know you're super busy. We'll let you get back to it. And thanks again for everything that you do there at All Solutions Pest Control.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet. Great stuff there. Thanks you, Blake. Yeah. Have a great day. That is Blake from All Solutions Pest Control. Again, $67 introductory special happening right now that you can take advantage of just by going to allsolutionspestcontrol.com. Quick reminder to be subscribed to our podcast. It's the best way to make sure that you never miss anything that happens here on the show, because we put the show out as a podcast right after we get off the air every day on basically every podcast platform. So wherever you get your podcast, make sure you're subscribed to Colombo and Company. And keep it right here. We're going to get into the fallout over Karine Jean-Pierre leaving the Democratic Party, writing a new book. And some former staffers that worked with her have some thoughts. We'll tell you about them next.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Mayela Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
Start your summer with a weekend showdown. Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers roll into Busch Stadium June 6th through the 8th. Be there Friday for a cool new promo, the first ever Cardinals neck fan. Perfect for hot game days. Then on Sunday, young fans 15 and under take home a Rawlings Kids Glove. It's a weekend of big matchups and big giveaways. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Mason Wynn, St. Louis Cardinals for the Loop.
Hey parents, looking for something fun and unforgettable to do with the kids? Bring the whole family to a Cardinals game at Busch Stadium. From kid-friendly activities and giveaways to awesome promotions like Kids Run the Bases. Your little ones will have a blast, and so will you. Check out Family Sundays, presented by Smithfield, where select tickets include a free jumbo hot dog and soda. There's nothing like sharing the magic of Cardinals baseball together. Make your memories this summer at Busch Stadium. Tickets are available at cardinals.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Trump describes his first conversation with Chinese leader Xi Jinping since returning to the White House.
We had a very good talk. And we've straightened out any complexity. It's very complex stuff, and we straightened it out. The agreement was we're going to have Scott and Howard And Jameson will be going and meeting with their top people and continue it forward. But no, I think we have everything. I think we're in very good shape with China and the trade deal.
Trade negotiations between the U.S. and China stalled shortly after a May 12th agreement between both countries to reduce their tariff rates to have talks. The president spoke as he welcomed German leader Friedrich Merz to the White House. Also at townhall.com, Speaker Mike Johnson launches a sales mission as the big, beautiful bill hits the Senate, hoping for passage before July 4th. Bernie Bennett with the update.
Speaker Johnson said in multiple interviews that he sent a long text message to Elon Musk vouching for the bill after the billionaire tech mogul said he was disappointed with the legislation, complaining that it undermines the cost-cutting work of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, his brainchild. The speaker also has gone on a cable news blitz, pushing back on concerns Senators Rand Paul and Ron Johnson are voicing about the impact of the bill, tearing into the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office's math, and arguing that the benefits of the package outweigh its shortcomings. Bernie Bennett reporting.
A man in central Washington state wanted on suspicion of murder after his 3 young daughters were reported missing and then found dead. Authorities asked the public for help finding 32-year-old Travis Decker, who's wanted for 3 counts of murder and kidnapping. That's according to police in Wenatchee, about 100 miles east of Seattle. A lower close on Wall Street. The Dow dropped 108 points. The Nasdaq was down 162. This is townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
I'm an artist and I'm in my studio. I listen to the radio all day and I'm hearing the ads about Relief Factor. And I've got pain in my neck and it's getting worse. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go ahead and order this. 2 weeks later, I've got much better range of motion. If you're experiencing pain at a certain point in life, I would get Relief Factor.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fee supply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Kristen Cornett with your forecast. A 20% chance of showers tonight under mostly cloudy skies. Expect some patchy fog. Will drop to 67. For Friday, showers and thunderstorms are likely. They could be a little heavy at times. Friday's high 79. A 30% chance of showers and storms Friday night as we drop to 65. And for Saturday, another 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. It's a mostly cloudy day with a high of 80 degrees. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Kristen Cornett.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Onder Law. Call for a free consultation because winning is what we do at Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000.
Fox News commentary.
Not only was the Boulder anti-Jew terrorist here illegally, he was driving for Uber. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
Mohammed Solomon, the man accused of carrying out the anti-Semitic hate crime in Boulder, was not only here illegally, but he was rewarded for his visa overstay with a work permit. Even worse than that, Mohammed Solomon drove for Uber. The company admitted he did, though Uber says all drivers pass a criminal and driving history background check and hold a valid social security number. Well, Uber doesn't seem like it. Don't worry, though, his account has now been banned. Outkick reached out to Uber for comment, and their response was that Solomon met all of Colorado's requirements for hire. But if the company requires a social security number, how can that be? Folks, Uber needs to be held accountable for this and assure and ensure all of us that people who aren't supposed to be here, let alone drive here, aren't slipping through its apparently very shoddy vetting process. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Going to talk to Mike Marfell and Mark McMurray, my co-hosts from the Bluff City Outdoors show here in just a few moments. They're going to join us in studio in 10 or 15 minutes. Looking forward to that conversation. We always talk a little bit about the outdoor stuff. Of course, that's what we talk about on the Bluff City Outdoors show every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. here on News Talk STL. But it's also our chance to talk to those guys about some politics and news of the day, some of the things that we don't talk about on Saturdays, very intentionally. If you ever tune in to the Bluff City Outdoors show on Saturday mornings here on News Talk STL, you are not going to get news and politics. You're going to get fishing and hunting and trapping, conversations and interviews and stories. Every now and then, if politics bleeds into that world a little bit, we may touch on it, but we very intentionally take a break from all of those things on the Bluff City Outdoors show. So make sure you tune in every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Of course, Bluff City Outdoors in Alton, open 7 days a week. It got you covered when it comes to all of your outdoor needs, when it comes to bow hunting, trapping, and of course, this time of year, fishing. They have got you covered. We've got our tournament coming up this weekend, Sunday, out at Carlisle Lake, the Bluff City Outdoors Fishing Pentathlon multi-species fishing tournament. A lot of fun, and we will fill you in more on the details of that when we get those guys here in the studio in a few moments. I want to get back into Karine Jean-Pierre and a little bit more about that, about the division that is happening within the Republican Party with some of Trump's even most loyal members of Congress starting to give some pushback on the big, beautiful bill. But I just saw this story come across. Looks like it broke a little less than an hour ago. So we were already on the air. James Carville, the Raging Cajun, famous Democratic strategist, is angry and lashing out against Jewish donors that are abandoning the Democratic Party, which what on earth do you expect, James Carville? James Carville said he doesn't believe it when wealthy Jewish donors tell him they're ditching the Democratic Party because of anti-Semitism among its members. He says they're doing it for a effing tax cut. How removed from reality can you be, James? He was on the latest episode of Politics War Room podcast. The former Bill Clinton advisor said these donors' concerns that the Democratic Party is encouraging anti-Semitism on college campuses, which they have, are an excuse so they can vote for President Donald Trump's tax cuts. This is anti-Semitic. This whole the old rich Jews only care about protecting their money. I mean, what is happening here? What? How out of touch can you be? James Carville is, there's plenty of things that I disagree with James Carville about, but he's usually somebody nobody covers the Raging Cajun like we do here on this show because I usually find him endlessly entertaining, but he's usually one that's calling out some of the Democratic BS. He's spoken out against, how DEI and, making identity politics and things like that has damaged his party so much, and how they've lost their way and they've gone way too extreme with some of these progressive values. So, when it comes to Democrats, in many instances, James Carville is somewhat of a voice of reason, kind of like a John Fetterman, which is another just thing I thought I'd never hear myself saying about John Fetterman being the voice of reason on the Democratic Party. But that's kind of how things have played out over the last few months. But this is just crazy. Of course, there are many Jewish citizens, voters, organizations that are upset with the way that the Democratic Party has at best turned their backs and ignored the anti-Semitism that has grown across the country, and at worst have defended it and made excuses for it. And then to come out and say that that is not the reason that Jewish groups are pulling their support from Democrats, and that the only reason they're doing it is to protect their money through the Trump, so they can vote for the Trump tax cuts, is anti-Semitic in itself. That is absolutely wild. Again, I just saw this story come across in the last few minutes here, so I haven't had a chance to dig into it, but I just wanted to mention, I'm going to read more, and we'll probably get into it maybe a little bit later on this afternoon if I get a chance to dig into it, or tomorrow. But that is just absolutely wild. It's just how detached from reality some people are just never ceases to amaze me. All right, let's talk about let's talk about Karine Jean-Pierre. We broke this story yesterday, talked about how Karine Jean-Pierre, of course, the press secretary for Joe Biden after Jen Psaki left, made the announcement this week that she has left the Democratic Party. She's no longer a registered Democrat, no longer a part of the party, no longer identifies as a Democrat. She is now a registered independent, and she's writing a book. And much like the Jake Tapper book, here is somebody who, just like Jake Tapper, covered for, defended the Joe Biden administration, and the president's mental capabilities, as well as all of the lunacy when it came to legislation surrounding the Biden administration. But this new book, I think I have the title here. Yeah, her new book coming out is titled Independent, and then the subtitle, A Look Inside a Broken White House Outside Party Lines. What? You were a part of that and perpetuated that broken White House, and you certainly weren't outside party lines. You were firmly inside the party lines of the Democratic Party. So this is gaslighting at its finest, because either she was lying to us then when she said that Joe Biden was doing the right thing, and that these policies and all of these, and that the White House and the White House staff and everything were working great, and was successful, and the president was very productive. She was either lying to us then, or she's lying to us now, because now she's saying it was a broken White House, and she's going to tell the truth from a moderate bystander's point of view, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So we talked a little bit about that yesterday, and read some of the just gaslighting quotes about how moderate she is, and how she wants people, even if they don't disagree with her politically, to go along with her on this ride and this discussion on how to make the country better moving forward. It's just ridiculous. Well, today another ex-Biden advisor has commented on what Karine Jean-Pierre is doing, and he called the former press secretary, quote, kind of dumb. Here's the story. As criticism mounts from within Biden's world against former White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre and her new book, one ex-aide lambasted the now independent former spokesperson as kind of dumb. A tweet that he has now deleted, but then he deleted it, but then said he stood by what he said. You'll know why in a second here. Timothy Wu, now a Columbia law professor, was former President Joe Biden's architect of antitrust policy, whose faculty bio claims he also coined the progressive term net neutrality in 2002. He made this tweet, now deleted tweet. Wu wrote, quote, from a White House staff perspective, because he worked there, from a White House staff perspective, the real problem with Karine Jean-Pierre was that she was kind of dumb. She had no interest in understanding harder topics, just gave random, incoherent answers on policy. Then here's the problem. Here's the part that that got all the backlash and caused him to delete it. You can decide for yourself if this is problematic or not. He then replied to his own tweet and said, quote, the Biden administration, the Biden White House was, quote, full of genius level black women. However, Karine Jean-Pierre was not one of them. So there's some people calling that out as racist. I'm not sure that it is. Again, the quote is, the Biden White House was full of genius level black women. However, Karine Jean-Pierre was not one of them. So that is where the backlash has come from. And he has now deleted those tweets, including the first part of it, where he just said, from a White House staff perspective, the real problem with Karine Jean-Pierre was that she's just kind of dumb. She had no interest in understanding harder topics and just gave random, incoherent answers on policy. He says that even though he deleted the tweets, he said that he stands by them. So take that what you will, but I think very much a very interesting perspective from somebody who is part of that very progressive Democratic Joe Biden administration and White House, you know, it's shining some light on maybe what it was like working with Karine Jean-Pierre behind the scenes there in the White House. One more thing here before we get Mark McMurray and Mike Marfell into the studio. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to kind of wrap up the conversation about the big, beautiful bill and Elon Musk pushing back against that, and how that back and forth between Trump and Musk has gotten pretty rough. It started out, with both guys saying like, hey, look, I really like, we still really like each other, but we just, we're just agree to disagree on some of the things in the big, beautiful bill. That has turned into Elon Musk saying that Trump would have lost the election if it wasn't for him. And for Donald Trump to accuse Elon Musk of only caring about the EV mandates that were taken out of the big, beautiful bill. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. And then also how it's not just Elon Musk, but also some other very staunch, well-known Trump loyalists like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Representative Scott Perry, who have come out and spoken out against this. Marjorie Taylor Greene said her particular problem is with the part of the bill that says that there's a 10-year restriction on states being able to pass their own legislation regarding governance of AI. She said, full transparency, I did not get a chance to read the entire bill, which is concerning. But also one of the things that Elon Musk called out, he said that the White House pushed this through and Republican leadership pushed this through in his words, quote, the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it. So maybe there is some defense for her voting on it before being able to read the entire thing. But she said had she have seen that, she would not have voted yes on the bill because she believes this is this is federal overreach that she is, in her words, quote, adamantly opposed to, which I completely agree. And she went on to say that she would not vote for this again if it's still there, if this 10-year restriction on states being able to regulate artificial intelligence on their own, if that's still in the bill after it passes through the Senate and comes back to the House for final approval, she said that she will not vote for it. A similar take as Scott Perry, who we mentioned earlier. He's another MAGA loyalist that has spoken out against the bill and supported actually what Elon Musk has said. Now, he didn't specifically talk about the AI section, but he said the same thing in that he will not vote. He voted yes this first time, but he won't vote yes again unless some big changes are made by the United States Senate before sending it back to the House. So it looks like President Trump and Speaker Johnson and others within Republican leadership really have their hands full with trying to, they had a big win, a couple weeks ago. Would it get it passed out of the House, I think, by one vote, the big, beautiful bill did. So, that was a big deal and a big win for them, but it's far from over in convincing the members of their own party that this is indeed the right path. And, those that have been opposed to it the entire time, like Elon Musk and Thomas Massey and folks like that, starting to look a lot more justified in their opposition to the bill. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it and continue to unpack it as we go. All right. Right now, before we hand things off to the Tim Jones and Chris Arps show, let's get the guys from the Bluff City Outdoors show in the studio. Mark McMurray from Bluff City Outdoors, professional fisherman Mike Marfell, both live in studio next here on Colombo and Company.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 941, 991 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
I really like some of the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today or visit colecombs-law.com.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
There's a race underway to see who can make the most money on a book about behind the scenes of the Biden White House. CNN's Jake Tapper first to get published Original Sin, where we didn't learn anything we didn't know other than Tapper and the rest of the legacy media were doing what we knew they were doing, lying, covering up for Biden. Now there's no surprise in his book, just confirmation. Now we have former White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre coming out with a book scheduled in October. Now, she actually was inside the Biden White House, and she was carrying the water and the lies for Biden. So she should have a different perspective. And her book is titled, in part, A Look Inside a Broken White House. Supposedly, she's going to talk about the weeks leading up to Biden's resignation. That could be juicy or just bubble gum. But she is leaving the Democrat Party to become an independent. Maybe it's because after you've seen how the sausage is made, you lost your appetite.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
I want to tell you more about Wellington Environmental's dustless blasting services. Wellington can blast paint, grease, graffiti, even stripes off parking lots. Truly amazing and powerful. But can Wellington blast something more sensitive? Yes, Wellington can use dry ice to blast soot and odors off smoke-damaged surfaces right after a fire. Currently, Wellington uses dry ice to clean mold off wood inside a home. Why? Well, dry ice immediately disappears, turns into a vapor. That means no mess to clean up, no damaged surfaces. You need to check with Wellington, always researching and practicing with new, better, faster, safer equipment and products for you. And it's very easy to schedule an estimator for your next project. Call Cindy, 314-644-4930, 644-4930. Be well with Wellington.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too. It's only called STL Windows and Doors. Call today for your free in-home estimate and start saving tomorrow. 314-277-5952 or stlwindowsanddoors.com.
Hey, Tony Colombo here, inviting you to the Bluff City Outdoor Show Fishing Pentathlon, a one-of-a-kind multi-species fishing tournament Sunday, June 8th at Carlisle Lake. There'll be several side pots, but to win, your team has to catch all 5 species of fish with the highest total weight. This unique tournament gives fishermen of all levels a chance to walk away a winner. Get more info and reserve your spot now by going to BluffCityOutdoors.com and searching tournament entry, or just go to the events tab on the Bluff City Outdoors Facebook page. The Fishing Pentathlon.
Brought to you by Great Harvest Bread Company in Maplewood and Intervine flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and more at intervine.com.
Life's too busy for home maintenance hassles. That's where Nicole Whited Home Concierge Services comes in. From coordinating contractors and managing yearly maintenance appointments for your home and vehicles, to handling your mail, packages, and personal errands and shopping while you're home or away. Nicole takes care of the details so you don't have to. Nicole Whited Home Concierge Services. Call 314-766-1996. 314-766-1996. Effortless living starts here.
Hey, folks, the Clayton Sleep Institute and my friend Dr. Ojal back supporting free common sense conservative radio. ClaytonSleep.com, treating the full range of adult and pediatric sleep disorders from sleep apnea to insomnia, restless leg syndrome, periodic limb movement, and narcolepsy. What an awesome place. New comfy setting for the sleep lab. ClaytonSleep.com, 314-645-5855. Better sleep, better life.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
The battle over the big, beautiful bill is apparently going to get really, really nasty. We'll have the latest.
Larry Connors USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
The world is a vampire sent to drain. Secret destroyers hold you up to the flames.
Smashing Pumpkins, Johnny. Overrated, underrated, or just about where they should be?
Dude, Siamese Dream is top to bottom.
I go back and forth because sometimes I think they're one of the most underrated bands, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, they weren't. Maybe they are right.
But Corrigan is a blowhard, and I think that's what'll do it. You know, like when you hear him talk,
he's not the only front man that's a blowhard.
Yeah, right. I mean, so I get it. That'll do it. But I mean, the fact that he is
I'm hot and cold on Smashing Pumpkins, like in my own life. Like you could ask me one day and I would be like, oh yeah, one of the best bands of the 90s, super. And then ask me the next day and I'd be like, nah, they're all right.
No, I stand by my opinion. But I mean, even when they made that comeback, like they had the one song like Tarantula, that thing was was amazing.
Yeah.
But they only had a couple in there. But like Siamese Dream, dude, top to bottom.
Yeah.
But it's not grunge. You know, it's not. Nirvana's overrated. I mean,
Nirvana's way overrated.
And Pearl Jam is way overrated too. Like it's
okay. Now we're gonna start fighting. Pearl Jam kind of jumped the shark. First 2 albums.
Yeah, I give you that.
Not bad. Not a bad.
But it's not my bag. Like it's not really grunge. It's not rock. It's
first 2 albums are impeccable.
Yeah, okay, Eddie.
Got into a big fight with Mark Close once about Pearl Jam, he said, oh, Eddie Vedder can only sing Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder's not that talented. He can only sing Pearl Jam songs. We were like, that's kind of good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only sing your own band songs. Yeah, that's actually good enough, though, Mark.
AC/DC's made a little bit of a living sounding the exact same on every album.
Exactly. Are we on here? Is this if we start?
Yeah.
Are we back on?
Is this a political
This is
show?
a political talk show. Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. That's producer Johnny, who is also the producer of the Bluff City Outdoors Show, which you can hear every Saturday morning, 11 a.m., and my co-host from the Bluff City Outdoors Show in studio with us, Mike Marfell. Say hello again. And, of course, my co-host of the Bluff City Outdoors Show, Mark McMurray from Bluff City Outdoors.
CEO.
Yeah, there you go. Great to see you.
Accountant. What else do you do? Stock shelf.
Stock shelves. I was doing that a lot yesterday. Cleaning up the trapping area today.
Hey,
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
How are leagues going down there, by the way? Archery leagues.
So they ended, and then they'll start picking up, so we can get a 10 or 12 week one in before October 1st.
Before the
They still do the big trad stuff. They have the trad stuff going every Friday. Doesn't matter.
That's super
there's
cool.
only
Yeah, you can shoot every day in the archery range there at Bluff City Outdoors. They have all of your archery needs covered, all your bow hunting needs covered, all your trapping needs covered. And of course, this time of year, it's all about fishing, and you guys got everybody covered there as well.
Take care of that.
We had another. So I've been talking a lot this week about our tournament this week, and I can't wait. The multi-species tournament, the Fishing Pentathlon, is this Sunday out at Carlisle Lake. Again, go to the Bluff City Outdoors Facebook page, go to the events tab, and you can get all the details about the tournament, and you can register, or you can just get the details if you just want to come out and watch. It's going to be a great time. Hope to see everybody out there on Sunday afternoon. But this week, Mark, here we go again. Yesterday, tornadoes, terrible
they'll use
weather.
the rain. I mean, it's unreal.
It's like we can't get away from it this year. I feel like we have still, it's now June, and I feel like we have still not gotten into any consistency of being able to go outside. And
the fishing's still good, though.
Fishing is still good. I mean,
current. Yeah.
Got better for this guy.
Yeah. Tony, did anything I tell you help with that? Or did you just...
I'm going to give all the credit to the sauce.
Okay, the sauce is key. But it was top water, too.
I gave you.
It was. Yeah,
your top water bite's coming. It's game on right now.
It was. I did catch the two big ones though on a crankbait, but I did catch other fish on the top water. The top water bite was fantastic. You're exactly right,
dude. When they smoke it, there's just nothing.
There's nothing better than a top water hit. No, not at all. So
especially when it sounds like they dropped a bowling ball from a helicopter.
Right? Yeah. Mike said the fishing has been great, and as we've talked about on the show on Saturdays. It hasn't been for me. I've struggled this year so far until this past weekend where I finally...
You went back and listened to the Bluff City Outdoor Show, and then you got better.
I did. I listened to the fishing.
So let that be a lesson to you. Yeah, you want to you suck at fishing, listen to Bluff City Outdoors every weekend right here.
Yeah, part of the show is the fishing report. Every week at the end of the show, we bring you the fishing report, which can be tremendously helpful if you're going to be going out in the coming days. But Mark, I mean, more rain, more water, just... Another wasted, another day that just gets wiped off the
and we got
calendar.
some heavy rain. I know my buddy up in Calhoun County, he had almost 6 inches of rain.
Yeah. Alton got hit hard.
Yeah.
Has it had any major impact on are things slower for you this year than they have been in years past, or because the fishing is so great when people do get those chances to get out, has it not really affected business?
No, so March and April were slower than normal. Now May we were better than normal. Part of it was our local conditions with them having the lock and dam parking lot closed, so nobody could get over there and snag for paddlefish. Missed the whole season. They now got those gates. They were hauling them off yesterday.
Wow!
So I'm hoping that means that they're going to be open this weekend.
What was that about? Some construction?
They've had a 3-year project on the locks. They finished it up this year, but they left the old gates on the parking lot, and they wouldn't open it up over there to the public until those gates were gone. And something they were piecing them up and hauling them off.
Moving at the speed of government.
Moving at the speed of government.
No kidding. And then I mentioned the Fishing Pentathlon multi-species tournament this Sunday out of Carlisle. But you, Mark, somebody who has produced and continued to run some of the biggest fishing tournaments in the area, none bigger than the Alton Catfish Classic every year, probably the biggest annual catfish tournament in the Midwest. This is a very unique
Yeah, this was going to be
very
interesting to see how this goes out.
Strategery. It's going to take some strategery.
Yeah.
But just
hear anything from folks in the shop or any feedback about the excitement or just the uniqueness of this tournament?
Yeah, so we have been getting calls.
Yeah.
So about it, wanting more information, and so that's a good sign. And and we're telling everybody where it's going to be. It's going to be at the Allen branch out over on Carlisle's, and I'll be there at 5 a.m. to start registration, and then fishing will release everybody at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Ramp? There's a ramp at Allen Branch?
That's what Eric said. I've never been over there. He said that's where we want to go out at.
All right. I don't remember the ramp.
I was perusing campgrounds over there, and there were so many. I didn't know where we were, so I was lost, man. There were so many.
I know there's one at Dam West,
so
and
many
there's
places
one
to
at
camp around the entire lake.
I haven't been to Carlisle in years, like probably 15 or 20.
you're right. Allen Branch is I was thinking of Peppenhorse. Allen Branch is the middle. Yeah,
I had been.
100%.
I've been there a bunch. I've been there a bunch, and I used to camp there with my grandparents growing up. So I have some experience with Carlisle Lake, but until we started promoting this tournament, Mark, I didn't remember until I started looking at it on the map and GPSing, my drive and everything for getting out there on Sunday, how big Carlisle Lake is.
Oh yeah,
no, it's a big lake. Yeah,
yeah, how big it is, and we talk a lot. We give Carlisle's always in the fishing report, and we talk about it on the show from time to time. But I don't know. When I saw it, I was just like, man,
it's big with not much shoreline because it's just big. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't meander around like Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
It's a giant saucer.
If it should get more attention than it does in the fishing world, or maybe it does, and it just doesn't crack through into the general public.
It's very well known for white bass fishing.
Yes.
I mean, that's probably what it's known most for. And then probably crappie next. But it's got a great channel cat population.
And the bass will come back around because it was out of sight, like in the early 80s through the mid 80s. But for whatever reason, I don't know what that reason is. Maybe too much competition with all the white bass. I don't know.
Yeah, the white bass, they're so they eat so much and they're so aggressive and they reproduce like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It probably is tough to compete with that.
Yeah. But with them planting all the brush, that's going to help tremendously.
Yeah.
The effort to put more structure in there.
Yeah.
Give the bass a place to hide and feed from.
We'll get deeper into this on the show on Saturday, Mike, but from your perspective as somebody who contributes to that fishing report each and every week, how much has the weather impacted this year? And more specifically, this week's weather going into this weekend and the next couple of days,
well, for bass, it's only helped it because they're keeping at Lake of the Ozarks specifically.
Yeah.
It's not a flood control lake. They got to push that water through. Anytime you got that steady amount of current, the bass are going to set up on those bluff ends and points and feed.
Yeah.
They just are. It's just too easy for them.
Yeah.
So it's making the fishing great. And the water puts a little stain to the water. Plus, it's Lake of the Ozarks. So if you can rain hard, keep the big boats down, fishing gets better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I cracked it. I cracked the code this past weekend by
the top water bite.
Finally going out there, and I finally went out like at first light.
There you go.
It wasn't, and it was I was paying more attention because it was just me and my oldest daughter, and we were focused more on fishing and what we were doing, and just keeping in, being receptive to what was happening with every cast. And it was,
what are the fish telling you? That's what I have to stop and ask myself.
Bass fishing is concentration.
Yeah.
You might only get 3 bites. You better be ready.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it kind of, I just thought of this, Mark. Maybe this broke my my superstition, because not the big guy, not the 2 big fish that I caught.
Yeah, yours progressively got bigger.
They did, but those first 2 fish were caught on the first 2 casts. And usually I've always said that I don't like catching a fish on the first.
Yeah, it's the same as a banana. It's all BS.
Because it's
You gonna let me eat a banana?
It's all
on your boat?
skill. You can bring a whole thing of bananas. I don't care.
It's always been my I've always thought it's bad luck to catch early on,
Yeah.
but I caught them early on and caught them through the rest of the time I was down there.
Luck's got nothing to do with it.
The banana stuff's real though.
Yeah. If you believe it's real, then it's real. If you don't believe it's not real, then you're good.
Explain that for people that don't know what we're talking
Well,
about.
that's supposed to be bad luck. I don't know why the banana in your boat.
You're not supposed to bring a banana on a fishing boat.
And it drives guys in tournaments when I fish crazy because I'll stand there in the morning eating a banana.
That's good mind game. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the?
That's
Do
games.
you know the history?
I don't
Do
know
you
the origin of it.
Mark, do you know the history behind it?
From what I understand, it goes way back into the 1800s and stuff.
It's something sank, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Loaded with bananas.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has something to do with boats sinking
Okay.
loaded with bananas.
So is it a boat superstition or is it a fishing?
It's a boat.
Yeah,
it's a boat.
It's a boat
So
superstition. Okay.
it has nothing to do with catching fish. That's what I say.
Right. Well, you
That's
can't-
When
you're
somebody
here for.
to wishes
can't
me
catch
luck,
fish
I
with-
say luck's got nothing to do with this. Just no bad luck. I don't need my motor breaking down.
Go tell Jeff Allen that.
Yeah.
He thinks fishing's all luck.
Yeah. So I'll tell
You
him
must
golf's
be a
all luck
terrible
too, then,
fisherman.
right?
I will say this though, you can't catch fish on a sunk boat. So
Solid point. Solid point.
So there's there is some maybe.
That's why maintenance is key.
maybe there's some connection there.
I've been fishing most of my life and I've never had my boat sink. So.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever eaten a banana on my boat.
I'm a pretty
have.
skilled boat. I make that well aware. Like when I used to do the pro-ams.
Yeah.
So I'd have a guy I've just met and I'm like, oh, it might be his first time in a bass boat.
Yeah.
I'm
There
like,
you go.
it's going to be a little scary today if this
Right.
is your first time.
Yeah.
But I got 4 kids. I've been doing this a long time. We will get home
If
alive.
it's one of those tournaments where they fish with a different fisherman the next day, you should give them a bushel of bananas.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Yeah.
take these. Hey, guy, take these
Hey,
with
take
you
these with you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
gonna love you. All right, we gotta wrap this up, but don't forget to tune in on Saturday morning, every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. to the Bluff City Outdoors show, where you can hear us talking about trapping, bow hunting, and of course, this time of year,
And bananas.
a lot of fishing and banana stories. And make a point to come and join us this Sunday out at Carlisle Lake for the Fishing Pentathlon Multi-Species Tournament. All the details on the events tab at the Bluff City Outdoors Facebook page. All right, Colombo and Company back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Keep it here for the O'Reilly Report next, followed by the Tim Jones and Chris Hart Show.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, Jamie Allman here for the Great Window World. Just over the last 20 years of Window World being in St. Louis, they've improved the look and thermal efficiency of more than 76,000 customers in St. Louis. Plus, Window World windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing, with approved credit. Call them today at 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.